Today we are going over the cost of doing this Ironman. This is a video that I watched from a lot of different people as far as like how much it actually costs to get all your gear, get all your equipment. I've been tracking everything. Today is March 28th and we really committed to doing this a little bit before the new year. Like I think it was like in November or so we knew we were doing it. So it's something I still had to plan for, but yeah, I was readily able to spend a little bit of money. Gonna break it down in order of the events: swim, bike, run. So for the swimming, that is a pair of goggles. I got these for $32.05. Got them on Amazon, some sort of Speedo goggles. Speedo is the only swimming brand I know, so that's the one that I picked. Jammers, I didn't have any like swimsuits or anything, especially not like a pair of actual jammers or whatnot. These were $31.46, and then a swim cap. Yeah, also Speedo brand, $12.99. Swim cap, goggles, jammers, $76.50. I have not bought a wetsuit yet, which has been a bit of a problem. I wanted to get the Roka, probably just look it up. All right, yeah. The wetsuit I wanted to buy is the men's Maverick Comp 3 wetsuit from Roka. They're always sold out. I've been on the like notify me when they come back in wait list for months now, and they haven't come back in, like pretty much since we started the training for all this. Yeah, but either way, relatively cheap cost for swimming so far, but I don't have the most expensive part or thing, and that's gonna be the wetsuit. $76.50 for swim without a wetsuit. Gonna be ordering that soon. All right, the bike I broke into a few different categories because not all of it's necessary, a lot of it's probably not, but I basically broke it into the bike itself and everything you would need if you don't own anything, because I didn't, to just physically ride the bike. Then I did all the gear to set up a trainer. Then I got some like accessories like shorts and bottles, stuff like that, things you don't technically need to ride it. And then bike gear, I guess you could say, which is like a stand, some tools, stuff like that. So we'll get into that. But first category is the bike itself. I spent like a month and a half maybe on Facebook Marketplace trying to find something. From everything I researched, it seemed like Tacx was one of those brands that like huge company, so it probably isn't the best for your money, right? It's probably paying for the brand a little bit, but there's like 5 Tacx stores in a 25-mile radius of my house, like 50-mile radius maybe. And if they're that big, then it's at least somewhat of a quality product. Like coming from somebody who didn't know shit about cycling or anything like that. And then they also had some what appeared to be entry level bikes. So I knew I was looking for a Tacx, but I wanted to get it used and do it off of Facebook Marketplace. What I ended up finding used on Facebook Marketplace was a 2023 Tacx Domanè, I think that's how you pronounce it, ALR 5, which is a 3rd gen version of it, and I got the guy to sell it to me for $1,300. Fuck. Should be something like that. So this is the bike. He was the second owner. He got it from another dude who bought it. I think he tried to get into cycling, rode it like a few times, never did anything with it. Sold it like a few months later. Second owner had it for a couple of years. Basically also said like, hey, sat in my garage, took it out a few times, ended up having a couple of kids over the time period, like right after he bought it. So he never got able, or he was never able to get into the sport either. It is a stock version of that bike if you look up the 2023 ALR 5. But the other cost that I associated with the bike itself is a tune-up. So at that store, or at the Tacx store, they basically said, hey, new chain, new handlebar tape, it's a brand new bike. I was like, okay, cool, but like what other things would you do to tune it up? Maybe they sold me a little bit here, I don't know. Because he didn't even say it at first, but I kind of pressed for it. Like, I want this thing to be as close as possible to a brand new bike. I think it was like 280 bucks. And he basically said they stripped the thing down of all of its components, lube, grease, whatever, clean, put it all back together, realign everything, do XYZ, plus the handlebar tape and all that good stuff. I just wanted to know going into it that the bike was perfectly good to go. And then I would do my own maintenance and take it to Trek for like bigger maintenance stuff, and just know that I'm gonna take care of it and make it last, because obviously the plan is still to take this thing all the way to the full Ironman, but we'll talk about that in a different video. Bike, 1300, tune up, 280. Shoes and the cleats underneath, 200 bucks, and the helmet, $72. The bike came with pedals, and I just got the cleats that match those pedals for what I would consider going from having no bike, no cycling, nothing, to you can at least go out and ride safely, helmet. The total was, for me, $3,387.59. It took a while just to find a seller who seemed like he was a good dude and who would meet me at a Trek store, or if I was talking about like canyons, like go meet me at a canyon store or whatever, and let a third party give it the A-OK. That is a lot of money, but I think it worked out pretty good. Next thing, talking about the trainer and everything it took to get the trainer set up, basically. My asshole friend is about 12 feet that way. Phone died, or computer also died, because it's hot as fuck out here. There's the mat that it goes on, which is already there. And then trainer I went with is the Garmin Tacx Neo T2. This is more expensive than necessary, for sure. There's a lot of cheaper stuff out there, but something that I wanted with the trainer was switching through the actual gears. You have an actual cassette with this trainer that you have to put your chain onto. So you pull out the back wheel, set up your chain to this, and then it's just got like a little front wheel thing. Da-da-da. I got it on sale. I was watching this for also like a month and a half before I bought a trainer. So this ended up being $1,000. The cassette to go on it that matched my cassette, which is Shimano, that was $65. The mat was another $30 for it to sit on. And then this stupid fucking sweat guard that I bought based off a bunch of recommendations from other videos. You know, it sets up to the handlebars to your seat, but so far I don't really think it's done shit. Either way, the total to go from, we already talked about the bike, but the trainer setup alone, so where you can ride in the house, like I have it set up in the garage, but I'm on the back deck right now, is $1,107. Bike, trainer setup, next two things are super quick. Shorts, right? So the shorts with the padding, so that thing doesn't go all the way up your ass. Got two pairs of these on Amazon for 30 bucks a pop, so 60 bucks. The other pair, I just got done with a ride this morning, so they're about to be in the wash. And then bottles. I just kind of chalked those two items up as like shorts and bottles. Not something you really have to buy to be able to do this, but accessory type stuff. That's another 85 bucks. And then the last thing was like the stand and tools. Oh, ah, you bitch. No, that's, it is, dude. I'm weak as shit. Last thing, bike stand, tools, all that good jazz. I didn't buy one at first, and let me tell you, it was a bitch and a half. Probably, yeah, not even looking at it. Super fucking annoying to get the back wheel off that bike and onto the trainer without having it stay suspended in the air. Why not just do it on the video? Ah, fuck, no I can't, because I still have my bag on it. Fuck, whatever. Point is, that stand is $85 on Amazon, and it holds the bike just fine. If you get a decent bike, the thing weighs like 20 fucking pounds, so anything that'll hold it in the air while you take the wheel off and put it on the trainer is gonna work just fine. So, stand, $86.98 on Amazon. Tools, so you're gonna need chain wrench, a torque wrench kit. These 3 items cost me 85 bucks. Bike rack for the truck. That one didn't take as long on Facebook Marketplace. I think I was looking for like a week and I found a dude selling one. So I got that for 125 bucks. Brand new, the same rack. It was like $400. They're super expensive for no fucking reason. Oh, and then pumps and tubes. Carry 2 tubes in case you pop an inner tube, and this little pump that has a gauge on it. And I literally bought these like a few days ago because I was going out for my longest ride this morning, and I was gonna be really blown if I got like 20 miles down the road and I pop a tire, because that would fucking suck. So pump was 32 bucks, tubes are $14. All things said for the bike portion. Well, and that grouping, right, stand, tools, all that was 343 bucks. So all said, we have the bike itself and everything that was just necessary to get riding. We had our trainer set up, so trainer, cassette, the mat, the guard. We had our shorts and our bottles, which are now off camera, and then stand, tools, truck rack, pump, and tubes, kind of all your like mechanical tools, accessories, whatever. Total, just for the bike, to kind of have like a full setup and like I've been constantly training without needing anything else, is $4,547.37. Running, really only 3 major items. Got our shoes, shorts, and not even the bag, but just the HydraPak, or the bladder itself, which I'm going to talk about why that is. But yeah, shorts, I got 3 pairs of them off of, you guessed it, Amazon. I just looked up light silk shorts, something like that. I just wanted them to be super light. $32.26 for a pack of 3 of these shorts. They've been great. Shoes, this I have a bit of an advantage of, and what I mean by that is the soles for these shoes I already had for training for my marathon last year. So I had the Ghost 16s last year from the marathon. These are just the Ghost 17s. I think they do a new one every year. I had bought a set of soles for the marathon training, and then closer to the marathon got a new set of soles, so I hadn't put in enough miles to warrant getting rid of them. Point is, shoes were $120 for the Ghost 17s at the time that I bought them, and that does not include the cost of getting custom fit soles in them. If you do that, that'll run you well over 200 bucks for the shoes. And then the bladder, this is a Nathan running pack, also had for the marathon, so I'm not including it in these costs. It's not a new cost to me. However, the bladder kind of got gross. I didn't use it for a long time. Water sat in it. I just didn't want to run that risk, so I got a new bladder and tube, $43.50. So, oh, I didn't do the math. Should be $195.76 on all of the running gear, which is really just the shorts, shoes, and bladder. Next is health monitoring / tracking workouts, all that good stuff. So in the videos you've already seen, or in this one, I got my Whoop on my right hand. I have a Garmin Fenix 6 Sapphire on my left. Both of these I already had before I started training for the Ironman, so I did not include them in the cost. So I use this strictly to track runs, swims, bikes, like distances, paces, all that good stuff, and the Whoop for the rest of the health stuff. The only thing that I did buy new was a heart monitor for the chest strap. I think it's called Garmin HRM Pro. It's the only one that, and I swear to God, this is basically how I decided on this, but it had all 3 triathlon activities, so swim, bike, run, on it. Last up for gear, last physical stuff, kind of. I put these 3 things in the miscellaneous category. Oops. Oh. All right. Whoops. I put the last few things in the miscellaneous category because they don't necessarily apply to any one modality, but gym towels. It was really annoying bringing like a full-on bath towel or like a beach towel to the gym every time I swam. I didn't have any other kind of like halfway substitute, so bought a pack of these 5 like microfiber gym towels. These were $30.40 for a pack of 5. Gym bag, $40, which you can kind of argue isn't really specific to the training or whatnot, but one, with the added training for the Ironman, I had to switch gyms because I just had to make my schedule more efficient in order to accommodate the extra training. And when I got a new gym that was on my way home from work, where I can go during the peak of rush hour traffic and get a lift or a swim in then, and kind of skip that traffic, which is one way I've done so far to help me save time, I needed to start bringing all my gym stuff with me. I used to come home, get in the house, eat something, hang out for like 15, 20 minutes, whatever, and then go to the gym after work. But going straight there, I needed a gym bag because I only have like a couple of backpacks and just wasn't working out. So that's why I included that as a part of the cost of like what going after this, or what, when I said, hey, I'm going to train for an Ironman, what all does it technically cost? Well, because I needed to switch to a new gym that had a pool and was on my way home from work, I needed a gym bag, $40. So, and last but not least, certainly not least, Body Glide. Get whatever product you want, something to prevent chafing. I don't know anybody who can do super long distance stuff without any sort of anti-chafe. It was $23 for 2 sticks. I'm still on the first stick. The stuff lasts a good little bit, so yeah. Things that I haven't bought. I do not have a power meter yet or a GPS for my bike. I'm going strictly based off of my heart rate, fed from the heart rate strap to my Garmin, and I've just been kind of glancing at it and making sure I'm staying within the relative zone. I don't know if I'm going to buy a power meter or a GPS before Boise. It's only a few months out. Haven't trained with it yet. They're expensive, and it just may not be in my wheelhouse right now, so we'll see about that. The wetsuit, I briefly mentioned that during the swim stuff. I have a bunch of wetsuits from surfing, and I'm not going to try to do the Ironman that, but I'm used to it, so I'm not as worried about getting the wetsuit as like one of those first items that I bought when it came to starting to get things together for all the training stuff, just because I'm already used to a more restrictive type of wetsuit and paddling and surfing for hours on end. So I'm sure once I do buy a triathlon dedicated wetsuit for the swim, I can't imagine it being some crazy shock to my system or throw me off. I think it's just going to make it much easier to swim open water, to be honest with you, but maybe I'll be eating those words in a little bit. We'll see. Probably going to buy like a pair of glasses, the more bigger aerodynamic whatever glasses. Not necessarily because I need it or really probably does anything. Having a pair that's kind of dedicated to this, why not? So that's a maybe. And aerodynamic helmet. I mean, right now, got this thing on Amazon. Again, I can't remember, I talked about the price at some point, but might upgrade to a slightly more aerodynamic helmet, and honestly just because it looks cooler. Fucking rule number 1, always look cool, and that doesn't, so maybe that too. If I haven't said it already in this video, total comes out to $4,547.37. That is how much I have spent for pretty much everything around me. Is it worth it, right? Or do I think it's worth it? Am I happy with the cost? Whatever. For me, I'm the kind of person that I need to have a goal. Like, I really need to be chasing something down as far as like some sort of physical goal, whether that be getting better with my surfing or some bouldering or whatever it is. I've done various stuff in the past, but for the most part, I've always needed a marathon last year. I've always needed a goal that I can work towards, and Ironman is something I've known about since I was a kid. I think I remember seeing it on like some dude's laptop, and I don't even know where I was, and I asked the guy about it. I remember like hearing about it. I was just like, holy shit, I didn't really think it was possible. And here I am now pushing 28 years old, and was like, all right, well, not getting any younger. And I just finished my marathon last year. Didn't do nearly as good on it as I expected to, and I kind of considered just retraining for that, but I honestly got so sick of all of the running that went into that and just running, and needed it to be changed up. So what does this cost? What does this $4,547.37 so far do for me? It gives me the motivation and the purpose to go out and stay consistent and have something that I'm working towards, where I don't just fall into a cycle of kind of being lazy or skipping workouts or whatever. Not to mention the half is going to be this July, right? July 25th, Boise. And then also next year we have the full. And not only does that keep me in check and something that I get to work towards, but I'm also doing it with my brother and two of our friends. So it's also created this super cool sense of camaraderie that's just different than anything I've ever shared with my brother before, or those two friends. So for me, it's undoubtedly worth it, without a doubt. I will probably spend a lot more money, like I said, between the wetsuit, power meters, this, that, and the third. Between now and the full Ironman, I'm sure this number is going to go up, and I'll continue to track it. But hands down, I'm super, super blessed to be in a position that I'm able to spend that kind of money over these past 4 or 5 months as I've begun training. And a lot of these costs are semi-permanent, right? I'm not going to need a new trainer by next year for the full. I technically could definitely get through with this bike, although that might change. But either way, granted, a lot of this is upfront bulk cost, but even if it wasn't, even if this was going to have to be semi-repeatable, for what it's done for me so far in my physical health, as well as what it's given me between my family and friends, hands down. And yeah, Boise, 118 days out.